Whoa, whoa, whoa. The British created sandwiches? Or at least America stole sandwiches from Britain. So this video is going to be fun. This is the top 10 things America, well not myself, just America stole from Britain. This one already says sandwiches. I went to a random part in this video, and I bet there's going to be a lot of things on here where I think that's American. It came from the US. Naturally, I thought this was very American, and when in fact it's not. So let's just jump into it. This is Watch Mojo, and let's see what America stole from Britain.
For this list, we're counting down famous facets of American culture which actually originated in Britain. While standout British inventions are subject for another list, today's countdown tackles typically American things, which the US has the UK to thank for.
Thank you.
Number 10. Apple pie. As American as apple pie, right? Wrong. The sweet treat is a staple on US dining tables, but the British were the first to serve it way back in the 1300s. A popular dessert throughout European history, with Dutch and Swedish styles also inspiring menus worldwide, it was taken across the pond with the 17th century colonists. Since then, apple pie has become a standout symbol of US patriotism, as well as a central component to a teen comedy franchise.
It's not what it looks like.
Number 9.
That is true. Yeah, apple pie. When you think apple pie, you think very American. If you buy a house and you're baking an apple pie, you can't get much more American than that. Throw a picket fence around it, but it comes from Europe. Makes sense, you know. It's been around for a long time, but Americans definitely see apple pie as a very American symbol, I guess, thing, food.
YMCA. Way before village people turned this institution into a cheesy disco anthem, and long before the YMCA swept across America, the Young Men's Christian Association was the brainchild of English philanthropist George Williams. Dismayed by working conditions in 18th century London, Williams conceived the now famous charity as a safe place for its patrons. While the movement's worldwide influence is something to be proud of, difficult to imagine Williams joining in with the dance moves.
Great.
Number 8. Chocolate bars.
I actually was on a cruise this summer, and there's this huge party in the middle of the ship, and YMCA came on. Yeah, it seems pretty American, but it's in fact definitely not.
Woo. I think I'll eat it now.
Candy bars are big business stateside, but before Mars, Hershey's, Milky Bar or Baby Ruth, there was one bloke in Bristol making confectionery history. Joseph Fry finalised the first mass-produced chocolate bar in the mid-1800s, around the time that the Dutch developed a chocolate press. Fry's chocolate cream hit shelves in 1866 with a famed fondant filling, and the bar can still be bought today. John Cadbury quickly followed suit, while the likes of Hershey's didn't arrive until the late 1890s. Number 7. Sandwiches.
Could I have a glass of wine?
Okay.
And a ham sandwich?
If you like.
With a pickle?
All right.
Thanks to world-conquering fast food outlets, Homer Simpson and Joey Tribbiani, you'd be forgiven for thinking that this foodstuff was a US creation. However, the history of the sandwich is long and complicated, and very little of it happened in America. While early versions are recorded across Europe, it's named after the 4th Earl of Sandwich in Kent. The story goes that he was an ardent gambler, and meat between bread was the simplest way of eating without disrupting a game of cards.
Sandwich for display purposes only and should not be eaten.
Number 6. The Office.
That's what she said.
I love this show. I've never seen the first season, at least of the American version. I've seen, I think, the first season of the British version, the original version. I love them both.
And yes, we mean the TV show and not the actual open-plan workplace, which is largely a German invention. Anyway, unlike a lot of American remakes of British TV, The Office US did manage to tap into most of what made its predecessor pair. But after 9 series and a shed load of awards, let's just remember where it all started. Steve Carell's Michael Scott is hilarious in his own right, but for fans of the British original, he'll always be David Brent in disguise.
There it is.
Number 5. Plastic surgery.
Wow, that came out of me.
From Botox to boob jobs, America is the world's leading market for cosmetic surgery, with millions going under the knife every year.
Surprise,
but the industry was by no means born in the USA. Sir Harold Gillies is often credited as the father of plastic surgery, a New Zealand-born, London-based surgeon who gathered leading physicians to treat thousands of soldiers who had been injured or disfigured in World War I. Gillies' work became a blueprint for all sorts of reconstructive procedures, and a starting point for today's aesthetic options. Number 4. The light bulb. A supposedly serial stealer of other people's ideas, Thomas Edison's light bulb moment is considered one of the most significant steps in modern technology.
Hey, Edison! How about sharing some of those light bulbs, huh?
Hey, figure it out for yourself, man!
But experts are continually divided on just how much Edison did to develop the design. Before the Wizard of Menlo Park, there were countless other scientists creating electric light and light bulbs, not least British pioneers including Humphrey Davy and Joseph Swan. The anti-Edison camp claims that the inventor's only skill was knowing when to patent.
One thing Edison did invent, for a 100% genuine Edison invention that we use every day, probably, most of us.
Is it nasal hair clippers?
Number 3. Donuts.
One back, first off, love this actor. I think I first saw him in the movie V for Vendetta. Yeah, it's true. Growing up, we've even seen, even when we were in elementary school, we would watch cartoons and movies and stuff about Edison and the creation of the light bulb. And then obviously when we got older, they left a lot out. So it is interesting to see.
Probably most of us.
Is it nasal hair clippers?
Number 3. Donuts.
One little bite won't hurt you.
Now, the origins of the donut are a sticky affair, with claims and counterclaims sending historians round and round in circles.
Alright.
However, while a stronger suggestion remains that the Dutch took the treats to America in the mid-19th century, a 2013 discovery seemingly proves that the Brits were baking them at least 50 years before.
Wow.
Baroness Elizabeth Dimsdale's cookbook dates to 1800 and includes a strikingly similar recipe. A deep-fried concoction of sugar, eggs, butter and yeast, add some icing, and it's the
So
real
good.
deal.
So good.
Number 2. Baseball. A national sport and obsession in the US, baseball was born in the UK. There are countless records of bat and ball games being played in Blighty, starting with stool ball in the 1300s.
I don't believe it. I'm kidding. I couldn't keep a straight face long enough. Yeah, I believe it. I mean, look at cricket. When did cricket come around? And I mean, I'm probably wrong with this, but then it evolved into a baseball, I guess, something like that. Because the British also made, they created so much. It's incredible.
Sure, the
Truly.
rules have changed and refined over the years, but the basic premise is usually the same. Someone pitches, someone swings, others try to catch.
Yeah.
In fact, some researchers argue that baseball is an offshoot of cricket, an English obsession which didn't catch on across the Atlantic. At all. Number 1,
no.
the Star Spangled Banner. We finish with a final salute for great British influence on American culture, because the US national anthem is sung to the tune of an 18th century English drinking song. Baltimore wordsmith Francis Scott Key takes full credit for the lyrics, but the melody was written by John Stafford Smith, a Gloucester-born composer. The Anacreontic song, as it was originally known, was regularly belted around a prestigious London gentleman's club, where wealthy people met to wine and dine.
That was that, and that's what I've heard in quite a few comments, which that's kind of where I learned it. I've heard of that before a while back in the comments from you all explaining that a little more. I'm like, wow, there's a lot more history behind the Star Spangled Banner. In fact, a lot of these than what meets the eye, what you grow up believing. So it's very interesting, and as always, the comments really help me and hopefully other Americans and just other people in general learn, which that's kind of what this is all about for me, and I love getting in discussions about it. But there you go, 10 things America stole, pretty much claim for themselves, or you grow up believing that it's American. We stole from the British. Add anything else on you can to this, and yeah, thank you for watching. We'll do more of these videos, and now I'm hungry for donuts and maybe sandwiches later. Got my coffee at the ready. Thank you for watching, thank you for joining, and I'll see you next time for the next video. Have a good rest of your day.